Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm Sean, the CEO of Ridge, and I've been obsessed with YouTube for probably 15 years, which is so weird to say. I have been active on Twitter for a really long time, and the only thing more severe than my Twitter addiction is my YouTube addiction. Right now, as I'm recording this, I got 5 tabs open, and I have never uploaded a YouTube video. So I've decided to start posting YouTube videos. My goal is to do 4 a year, 1 a quarter. This is my Q1 YouTube video. I bought Colin and Samir's course. You just got to get started and start making these. What I decided to do a YouTube video on was influencer marketing. The history of influencer marketing from someone who spent $10 million doing it. We've been a big YouTube creator sponsor for a long time. YouTube has always been like a core marketing strategy for us. A little bit about Ridge. 9-figure, family owned. Me and 6 other guys own this business. We've never raised any money. And we got into influencer marketing because it's where I was spending all my time. The first person we sponsored was like 2016 on YouTube. And that's just because in 2016, I was watching a ton of YouTube. I was 22 years old, didn't have cable, couldn't afford Netflix, watching a ton of YouTube. So that's where we started this whole idea of sponsoring these people. Influencer marketing isn't new. Paying people to promote you is pretty ancient. If you're bribing the jester to get a word in with the king, or big tobacco was paying actors to smoke cigarettes, or alcohol brands were paying to show up in music videos, that is a type of influencer marketing. You are just paying to borrow someone else's credibility. So what I want to do in this video is unpack the concept, then we're going to talk about the modern history, then we're going to get tactical. I'm going to actually break down the way we think about outreach. So by the end of the video, I want you to understand the how, the why, the current landscape, and maybe how you could do influencer marketing. Or if you're an influencer, maybe this will help you figure out how to charge more for your ad rates. The very best form of marketing is word of mouth, right? It's you having an honest conversation with a friend in your life, telling them about a good experience you had. The biggest problem with word of mouth marketing is you cannot scale it. You can't just spend more money on word of mouth marketing. You can do in-person activations, right? Try to have those conversations. You could create a product that has a network effect, like Facebook. It's only valuable when other people use it, so you want to tell people to use it. You can build a community-first product. So if you're a gym, naturally you're going to have a community of people you're building it around, and then they can talk, they can invite their friends, the whole thing. 5% of Ridge's customers come to us through word-of-mouth marketing. That's because we have a really good warranty. If you break your wallet and you email and you get a new wallet, it kind of feels like a good experience. It kind of feels like magic, like, oh, these people actually kept up their end of the bargain. It's so rare to have a brand do what they say they're going to do. So when that happens, you want to tell some people about it. You got a good experience. But think about this in your own life. How many times have you talked about wallets with your friends? It's probably never happened. Restaurants, you recommend them all the time. Video games, you want your friends to play with you. Something visual, you might get compliments on a shirt or a backpack or something, but nobody is talking about wallets all the time. 5 to 10% of our customers coming from word of mouth. We're pretty proud of that. We're proud of the warranty and the good experience most customers tend to have. One of the reasons why word of mouth is so powerful is because it's full share of attention. It's inside of a conversation where you're already paying attention. Compare this to a billboard. You see 1,000 billboards every single day. You're listening to music. You're driving, trying to pay attention. It's just a blip in your radar. You might not even register it. If you're having a conversation with somebody, you want to be there. You want to be talking about it. There's going to be questions back and forth. There's active listening happening. You're going to hear about someone looking for a wallet. They found one. They liked it. They broke it. They got a new one. And the wallet and the experience are totally front and center that whole time. And influencer marketing borrows a lot from this. It's from a trusted party. Why would you be watching or listening to them? It's 100% share of attention. If you're listening to a podcast and there's an ad read, if you're not skipping it, you're not doing anything else. Or you're watching a YouTuber, that's your full share of attention. These ads are 30 seconds long. So Facebook ads, you scroll right past them. Billboards, you're driving right past them. But it's harder to do that when an ad is 30 seconds long. That's why I think influencer marketing is the closest you can get to scaling word of mouth marketing. That's why it's so powerful. That's why we spent $10 million doing it. Pre-internet, the celebrity spokesperson was a form of influencer marketing. Proactive was just borrowing credibility through the singer of Maroon 5 or Jessica Simpson. And radio hosts doing local ad reads set the standard for podcast ads, social influencer reads, and YouTuber integrations. It was a drive time DJ talking about his awesome new Honda, and that was all paid. A lawyer busting him out of jail for a DUI. That was a native integration inside the content. They had ad breaks. They would go to commercial between songs, but when the DJ came back and started plugging something, that was a paid native integration. That set the contract standard for what happened on the internet. Instagram influencer was the buzzword of 2012 to probably 2018 before YouTube and TikTok really started kicking ass. TV ad revenue has not grown in 10 years. Print media ad revenue has gone down for the past 10 years, where Facebook ads continue to grow, right? Every single year, 10 to 30% growth in Facebook ad revenue. Mobile is consuming all of our attention, and it makes sense that would happen to PR and influencer marketing as well. There was a whole industry of PR professionals, hundreds or thousands of people who would throw awesome events and try to pair brands with the most credible people on earth. If it was celebrities, bloggers, journalists, tastemakers, editors of magazines, brands needed to get in front of them. One article in Vogue could put your brand on the map, right? That was the whole goal and promise of the 90s and the 2000s. Then Instagram comes out and everyone realizes that the best thing you could possibly get was a photo posted on Kim Kardashian's feed. It was 10,000 times more powerful. It would drive a whole new group of people to actually search for you and make a purchase. And it was unfiltered, uncluttered ad space. What Facebook ads did to TV and print and everything else, Instagram influencer did to the entire PR industry. And that sets the stage for today. Kim K being the biggest influencer selling things out by posting was 10 years ago, right? Now there's an entire ecosystem and industry built out, and it's way bigger than PR ever was. Influencer marketing, native integrations across podcasts, across Instagram posts, across YouTube has replaced entire teams and media channels. No one's working on SEO. Very few people work in PR, but a lot of people work in influencer marketing. So what is the current state, the 2025 state of influencer marketing? This is not fully comprehensive, but it's how I think about it, and I'm a multi-$100 million brand. So there's social media feed posts. This is what we're used to seeing in feed on Instagram. You can also get in-feed posts on TikTok, and to a way lesser extent, Twitter and Facebook and all the other platforms. Those are actually so less prestigious that they're usually free to add on. If I'm paying for a feed post on Instagram, you can just ask for a feed post on Facebook and Twitter, mostly for free. But the biggest block unit is the social media feed post. Then the next ad unit is the social media ephemeral post. This is the story post, very Instagram centric. There are stories on TikTok, there are stories on Snap. Snap invented it, but it's very much when people talk about buying stories, they're talking about Instagram. And it's kind of the default common post people try to sell. It doesn't stick around. There's a link, you can link out. You can't do that on feed posts. The influencer likes it because they're not cluttering up the feed. The feed is still a sacred thing to a lot of people. A lot of people hate selling to their audience. So at least with a story, it's very easy to skip. It feels less invasive and it's just right there, right? It goes away. You can deny ever working with the brand if you really want to. So this is the default common ad unit that gets traded. Then there's in-content ad reads. This is ad breaks inside of content. This is mostly a YouTube thing. This goes hand in hand with podcast ads. They're a little bit different. I'll explain why. But in-content ad reads can be on short form video or like a really long TikTok. Way less common, way less valuable. A 30-minute long YouTube video has 1 million views on it, and 2 minutes in, they thank the sponsor, and you're the sponsor, and there's a 30-second ad read for it. There's a link in the description, and they pin the comment. That is like, mwah, chef's kiss. Podcast ad reads are super similar. The only difference is that there tends to be multiple sponsors on a podcast. That's really accepted, where an in-content ad read on YouTube, it'd be very weird to have more than one sponsor. Maybe it's one sponsor plus the influencer plugging themselves, but if there was a 3 or 4 minute ad break where they took a bunch of sponsors, that doesn't really happen. Where podcasts, it's expected that there's probably 5 sponsors per hour of content. The next thing, this is a little bit newer, a little more niche, but it's just rights to content. So there's no post at all. It's just having creators shoot content for you, and then you do whatever you want with it on your own. You can run TV ads, you can run social ads, you could just have landing pages for them. This is rights to content. And this is a kicker that can apply to any of these. So if you just want a feed post, but then rights to it, it's a kicker you can add on anything. A lot of times really famous people, like we work with Travis Barker, he doesn't want to post on his feed or his story all that much, but he'll shoot content for you, right? He's around his phone, he'll shoot content, and then it's up to you to distribute it. It makes famous people feel a little bit better about the arrangement, and those are typically cheaper arrangements to actually get done. For most brands and most people, you're going to be buying one of the ad units I've talked about. Social media posts, social media stories, in-content ad reads, podcasts, or just ad rights. That is like the big five that you will probably be purchasing. And those big five can take you very, very far. You could spend $1,000 doing this or literally $10 million on those big five. There's an influencer at every size and scale to work with you on any one of those. So just focus on those big five ad units. Now we're going to talk about the different types of programs you can run. The first program I'm going to talk about is gifting. It is the easiest, lowest entry point. I ship someone something for free. Usually there's no strings attached, and I hope to get a mention or post. There is a lot of competition in the gifting space. Every single brand thinks that their brand is awesome and people should talk about it. So they're going to try to give free product to everybody. My wife's an influencer. It is just thousands of people per month emailing her trying to give her free stuff. And she doesn't respond. The only people she responds to are Lululemon. If it's just free stuff, there's unlimited opportunities to get free stuff. So you really have to stand out if you're just going to do a gifting strategy. Then there's free product. It's like gifting, but there is a guaranteed deliverable. You reaching out being like, hey, I want to give you something, but you have to post in exchange for the free product. Really low success rate, even harder to do than gifting, usually reserved for micro creators. A micro creator is sub 10,000 followers or 30,000 followers on TikTok, something like that. The more valuable your brand is, the more you can do a free product in exchange strategy. Car companies do this with macro influencers. Remember Kim Kardashian driving the Cybertruck? I think she just got a free Cybertruck to do that post. I bet there wasn't even an exchange of dollars, just a free car in exchange for a post. That's the type of thing that if you're extremely valuable, if you're a jewelry brand, you can do a lot of this, but really big accounts won't work with you. Then there's affiliate. This is me giving you something in exchange for free product. And then there's the chance you can make money. This was a really old strategy. I mean, it built influencer from like 2010 to 2016. This was the de facto way to work with people. Stopped wanting to do affiliate. They just want to do straight influencer ad reads and get paid for them. I mean, who could blame them? But TikTok breathed new life into affiliate. So now affiliate's probably 10% of the entire partnerships ecosystem. There's a whole new type of creator who's very comfortable making money off of affiliate, and they know how to sell things on live or in posts. It's the gifting strategy paired with the chance to make money. The next is UGC, pay for content. This is buying content or ad rights. There's no obligation for them to post at all. And this is the way you could work with someone really big, like a Travis Barker. We just want the rights to your content for 3 months and we'll give you 50 grand or something like that. They shoot something, they deliver it to you, you can run that in ads. That's how you can work with really big people. I buy comedians' ad rights all the time. So they don't have to post it, they don't have to clutter up their feeds, they don't have to sell to their audience. Flash fee posting. This is the default program to run. You reach out to 1,000 people and you say, hey, I'll give you $10,000 for a post. You have to figure out what their content is worth to you. So there's some sort of calculus that goes into it. Typically a formula, like what do you think their reach is? What's their followers? What's their impressions? Whatever. And you just come up with a dollar value and offer to a bunch of people. Flat fee posting, backbone of the whole influencer economy. If affiliate's 10%, this is 50% of the influencer economy. It's just flat fee posting. A little more sophisticated is CPM post deals. So you guys agree to a CPM. You get downside protection in case the video bombs. They get upside protection in case the video really takes off. If I do a flat fee post for $10,000, but the video ends up getting 10 million impressions, the influencer might be a little pissed off. They're like, hey, I delivered a banger video. Can I have some more money? It's really like, and that's a conversation they don't want to have. So CPM posting protects both parties. You can also put a floor and a cap, like I'll give you a minimum of $35,000, but a maximum of $100,000. So if the video does really take off, you're not paying $500,000, you have a capped exposure. But if their video tanks, at least they have, a capped downside protection. So CPM posting. If you're a YouTuber, you're used to RPM, that is revenue per 1,000 impressions. YouTube gives you a CPM number and then they take half of it and that's your RPM. When I say CPM, I mean $10 or $20 that's going straight to your pocket. If you ever want to negotiate with a YouTuber, you can use the word RPM. Speaking their lingo could help you get a better deal done. We've seen combos of all of these different types of programs be ran. At any different point, we're just paying for content, running a gifting strategy, doing flat fee posting, and CPM posting. I'm running all of those different. Nowadays, you can actually run affiliate plus flat fee. Hey, I guarantee you $5,000, but then I can give you affiliate on top of it. All of these are combos. It's a pick your own menu of ways to work with influencers. You can take any of the ad units from before and any of the strategies and combine those to run. And you'll probably do 3 of each at any given period. And then like everything, there's unique variants. Sometimes someone will ask you for ad rights plus a percentage of spend. Travis Barker is going to give me his ad rights, but then he wants a 10% kicker for every dollar I spend on those ads. Those have really fallen out of favor, but there's so many unique ways to do influencer because it's just private agreements between different parties. All the numbers I've thrown out, all the people I'm talking about working with, I've changed all the numbers and all the names. So take that, YouTube. The cost of influencer in relative terms is a bell curve. In absolute terms, it's straight up and to the right. What do I mean by this? Let's talk about gifting. Gifting is a zero cost program. The only cost is the cost of product, and I'm going to say that to everyone on earth, they do not value your products at all. So the cost of your product is zero. It's free, and everyone does it. So you're doing gifting campaigns versus LVMH, Gucci, the biggest and best brands on earth. Because of this, your gift package doesn't really matter to anyone. People with 10,000 followers are being offered 10 gifts a week. It's free to enter, and there's lots of competition. In relative and absolute terms, it is zero in terms of cost. Moving up the curve, we have affiliate. There's a ton of competition for affiliates. Everyone wants to work with people for free and only pay on success. There's a reason why Facebook doesn't have an affiliate program for their ads. There's so much competition that they're like, no, you're just going to pay us. It's up to you to be successful. So there's a ton of competition to work with the best affiliates. Now, less brands are doing affiliate. LVMH, Gucci, they're not going to run affiliate programs. So the competition is less, but the cost is higher. Now you have pay to post. This is the bread and butter of the influencer economy. It's estimated the influencer economy is $24 billion. Pay to post is half of it. It's what you think of as influencer marketing. You're going to fork up an agreed upon flat fee in exchange for distribution on their own channels. So how does this really work? Side quest. We're going to talk about CPMs and posting. So strap in. This is the meatiest, juiciest part of the whole thing. Pay for post covers the whole gambit. We've paid $50 for a post. We've paid $50,000 for a post. The key input to consider is what is your base CPM? So remember that term, base CPM. Ridge has a low base CPM. Influencers will accept less money to work with Ridge than other brands. Why is that? Let me explain some of the unfair advantages Ridge has in the influencer ecosystem. Our target influencer has a lot less brand interest. Less people try to sponsor men's content. So Ridge versus Jones Road Beauty, I'm going to get a discount. The first reason why we're cheaper is just the people we're trying to sponsor, and there's less competition for that ad space. Second, we're influencer safe. What does that mean? We always talk about if something's brand safe, but there's a different concept here, which is it safe for the influencer to work with you? We've worked with influencers for years. I can show reviews, I can show Shopify sales, I can show a highlight reel of working with all the top creators. I can show 10 plus years of us existing as a company, happy customers, the whole thing. This shows the influencer that we aren't a scam. We won't steal money from their audience and we're not going to hurt their credibility. You have to think that there's been a ton of scams in influencer marketing. So people can say I'm overpriced, people can not like me, people can hate the wallet. That's all totally valid. But when somebody buys something from me, they're getting exactly what it says on the product page. I'm going to ship them a wallet. The wallet has a warranty. I've serviced probably 100,000 warranties at this point. It is safe for the influencer to work with us, knowing that other people have worked with us and we will actually deliver on the promises made to their audience. Additionally, we aren't a controlled or taboo topic. Nobody's going to get mad at them for promoting a wallet. We're not crypto, gambling, boner pills, or hair pills. If you are a gambling product or a boner pill product, you're going to have a higher CPM than me. A lot of people just don't want to work with that. It's seen as taboo, bad for their audience, it's seen as a scam, it's seen as illegal, like any of that type of stuff. You're going to get more no's, and the yeses you get are going to be more expensive yeses. You're going to have a higher base CPM than me. Ridge can get deals done for $10 CPMs all the time. Jones Road Beauty, it's a beauty brand. There's more competition for female ad space. They might spend $20 or $30, maybe even more, $40. And if you're a crypto product, we've seen crypto spend $500 to $1,000 on a CPM. There's very few creators who want to work with them, and the creators that do know they can work with a bunch of crypto people at very high prices. So promoting a wallet, $10, promoting crypto, $1,000. It's 100 times more expensive to be a crypto product working with influencer than the wallet company. Okay, now let's just talk about CPMs more generally. Meta, reach per 1,000 people, is typically more expensive than influencer marketing. Influencer marketing has 100% share of voice, it is host-read, it is native to the content, and a meta CPM is just you scrolling past it. That's an idea called impression time quality, and the impression time quality on influencer marketing is way higher than on meta. So why is meta more expensive? It comes down to two things. One, targeting. Meta knows who wants to buy a wallet. When I do an influencer ad read, it is just everybody and anybody. It's people in America, in England, in India, it's kids, it's adults, it's whoever wants to watch that content. So I have no targeting on top of that. With Meta, Meta knows who's in market for a wallet at any given point. So it's more relevant CPMs, and you're going to pay more for that. The modern digital targeting is an entire tracking ecosystem built around trying to know what people want and showing them those ads, and you have to pay for just every little piece of data on top of that. The number two reason, I think a bigger reason, is just competition. Everybody can afford $15 to run a Meta ad. Very few people are trying to work with YouTubers. When you go to spend money on Meta, you're competing against restaurants and insurance companies and other brands. Everybody on earth is running Meta ads. I think their last number was 8 million unique advertisers in the United States. There's probably 800 brands who run YouTuber integrations. So it's several order of magnitude smaller. Everyone can afford $15 to get started on Meta. Very few people trying to spend money on influencer. So there's more competition on top of the targeting. That competition principle also applies to gifting and affiliate and low-end pay-for-post deals. Most brands can afford $5,000. So the competition for $5,000 deals is really high, meaning the quality of the $5,000 deals is typically lower than a more expensive deal. Typically, you get better deals the more money you have per post. And here's a real-world example. Mr. Beast and the Super Bowl. To run a Super Bowl ad is $7 million. You get 120 million unique eyeballs. That's 120,000 CPMs. The cost per CPM is $60. Now you have to buy all the CPMs at once. And it's the most premium advertising on earth. It's $7 million, but the cost per CPM is only $60. It's not weird for a beauty creator to charge $60 CPM. I've seen beauty creators charge $100 CPM. There's already influencers who are charging as much per CPM as the Super Bowl, but they don't have the reach of the Super Bowl. Mr. Beast will typically get more unique eyeballs than the Super Bowl. He'll typically get 200 million views on a video. He has more reach than the Super Bowl. Do you think his ads are $7 million or above or below? They're typically below. You can do a deal with Mr. Beast for $2 million. He needs sponsors for his videos. It's his main source of income. Influencer marketing is still the backbone of the creator economy. Working with brands, brand deals, brand sponsorships, it's the backbone of the creator economy, even for Mr. Beast. And to work with him will cost $2 million, give or take $1 million. He needs sponsors, and there's almost no brands willing to shell out 7 figures on a video. It's Shopify. That's who's willing to do it. Because he needs sponsors and there's no sponsors willing to pay higher rates, the CPM comes down. The point I'm trying to make is the bigger the reach, the lower the CPM. Beauty creators could charge $60 or $100 per CPM because it's a very niche audience and there's a lot of competition for that ad space. Mr. Beast, who has way more reach than anybody else, has a lower CPM just because almost nobody's trying to bid on that ad space. So when you go to bid on ad space, you have to think about these things. What is my base CPM? How much competition do I have for the space? What would a similar impression cost me on Meta? It is not uncommon for influencer marketing to be cheaper than Meta, and the bigger creators having lower effective CPMs. So our best ad buys we've ever done on a ROAS basis have been $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 videos. And it's because you can get a ton of reach with very notable people and typically pay a $10 to $15 CPM. But remember, I have a lower base CPM than you. If you are anything in the health and wellness space, anything even slightly taboo or anything with any sort of competition, you're gonna have higher CPMs than me. Going back to this concept of absolute cost versus bell curve cost, this relative cost, this is what I'm talking about with the Mr. Beast CPMs. So Mr. Beast has the same CPM as a creator with 100,000, and the highest CPMs actually peak in the middle because a lot of people are gonna be bidding on this because this is where the brand competition is. Beauty creators charging $60 or some creators charging $100 CPMs. That's because a lot of people are bidding on that ad space. Almost nobody's bidding on Mr. Beast and almost nobody's bidding on the smaller side of the scale. Absolute cost does go up. It is $2 million to work with Mr. Beast. It is $1 million to work with this person, and it's $100,000 to work with this person. But that $100,000 person and Mr. Beast have the same effective CPM cost. The next thing I want to teach you about is endemic versus non-endemic. Everyone wants to always do endemic integrations. What does that mean? If you sell makeup, you want to work with makeup influencers. I think there's a very strong argument that the best ad space possible is non-endemic. We're going to talk about Epic Gardening. Kevin, fantastic channel, love the dude. He gets approached by, let's call it Home Depot. And Home Depot is like, hey, we want to work with you and we want to tell your audience to buy all of their gardening stuff at Home Depot. Kevin might not want to do that deal. Kevin is seen as the most influential voice in gardening. Would his audience be mad if he starts working with a giant corporation? Maybe he doesn't want to work with them because he wants to launch his own stuff. It just could be too alienating. He's seen as an expert in the space, so the ad space just might be too valuable to ever sell. Another example is like a fishing channel. If you're a fishing channel, you're seen as an expert on fishing. If you recommend bait and tackle and it sucks, your credibility is on the line. And also, recommending bait and tackle might shut down future opportunities for you to launch your own bait and tackle. Now, Kevin and the fishing channel could both talk about wallets and nobody would care because it's just so low risk. They're not seen as an expert when it comes to fashion. They're not seen as an expert on wallets. And they're like, yeah, hey, look, I use it, I like it, check it out. And if you don't like it, no skin off my back. It just might be a little taboo. It might be a little icky. It might be seen as selling to their audience and they might not want to do it. And if they do, it might be really expensive. It's kind of like asking a chef his favorite meal or a mechanic his favorite car. A little bit of their ego's on the line. So they don't want to violate that space. But you could ask the chef what wallet he should buy, and he doesn't give a fuck. Everything I just said is about non-endemic ad space. We've worked with a couple fashion channels, but they might want to launch their own brands one day, and they want to be seen as hawking something than asking their audience to buy their own thing. It's way better for us to work with non-endemic partners. We've worked with The Needle Drop. We have nothing to do with music, but everybody needs a wallet, and he has an audience. I think non-endemic ad space is easier, lower risk integrations for both sides. Ronaldo can sell one pair of shoes. He can sell 30 hotel sponsorships. It could be like, hey, I stayed at the Marriott and it was awesome. And then you could see him at a Four Seasons and you'd be like, what the fuck? No one would care. People say at a lot of different hotels. But if Ronaldo's like, these are the shoes I train in to make me who I am, that crosses into exclusive sacred space. We just try to avoid doing that as much as possible. If you do want to do that, you're going to pay out the teeth for it, and you have to really believe in the person you're working with, and they have to really believe in you. It goes both ways there. I think endemic sponsorships are great. In a category like beauty, there's a ton of brands. People are going to work with a ton of brands. People are going to try a ton of products. It can make a ton of sense. If you're a beauty creator, you're getting pitches from everybody, and it's totally fine to work with a bunch of different people because on different days, you're going to use different things. A lot of times, beauty creators will work with people and then start their own thing. They're going to get DMs from Rem and Rare and Sephora and Ulta and every single beauty brand on earth. It's a very competitive industry with a ton of really smart brands doing influencer marketing really well. And I just think there's more alpha to be had in a non-endemic sponsorship approach. Be the only makeup brand trying to work with family bloggers. Endemic sponsorships are great. We tend to find more success with these non-endemic sponsorships. As long as people are watching and those people might need a wallet, that's what we're going to try to sponsor. We work with Linus Tech Tips. We are a wallet trying to sell to guys. So it makes a ton of sense for us to work with Linus Tech Tips. And if you're NVIDIA trying to sell GPUs, you're not going to want to sponsor the fishing channel. So the only people you could really work with are tech YouTubers and somebody like Linus Tech Tips. So a lot of times you have to go endemic just because the product is so specific. But I think that's actually the edge case. I think most people can go more broad and work with a wider stretch of creators. I think it'd be better for creators and it'd be better for them. It's valuable ad space. And unless you're hyper niche, like Fulfill is an ERP who sponsors my podcast. They shouldn't sponsor Mr. Beast. They should probably only sponsor niche e-commerce creators. Okay, everybody, this is my first YouTube video. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I'll see you around the internet. And ridge.com/Sean. Use code Sean for 10% off. I'm my own influencer. Being paid to post. That's the future. Negative CACs, guys.